Let me just unmute that. Right, okay. Good evening, guys. Welcome to this little live stream. I'm just gonna do a little bit of preparation for our 30-day sugar-free challenge that we're gonna do throughout January. Okay, so if you're watching this, obviously you're interested in doing that. Please say hi. Let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me. I understand there's a delay. It's just the way it is with this kind of stuff. And then let me know where you're messaging from if you can, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, but basically trying to get this across as many platforms, or YouTube even, as many platforms as I can. So whilst we're waiting, I'll just check some of the other platforms and see what's happening. Have a little look. So just bear with us. What I will say is on the software that I'm using to stream this, if you're on Facebook and unless you give StreamYard, which is the software I'm using to stream this, unless you give them permission, I'm not going to be able to see your name. Okay, so please forgive me for not knowing who it is sometimes. But if you can give them permission, then that kind of helps. God, I'm trying to work out. Right, I don't know whether it's. I don't know. Trying to get it up on Instagram. I just don't really get on too well with Instagram. So we'll see anyway. See if anyone picks this up. Okay, who we got? So we've got Lisa saying hello on Facebook. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing? Claire, how you doing? Good to see you here. Someone else, yes, I can hear you. I'm on Facebook. Great. I don't know who that is, but thanks for your comment. Claire's here and see you fine on Facebook. Brilliant. Angie, how are you doing? It's Angie on Facebook. And Monica, brilliant. Okay, so we've got a few people on. The numbers going up bit by bit. I'm going to introduce what I'm going to talk about in a bit. But before that, I'm just going to share a little link with you. Okay, so basically, if you haven't done so already, I want you to kind of head over to this link and then make sure you request to join the Facebook group. Okay, so originally, I know there was a little bit of confusion as to what you should do, and I tried to get you to download a booklet and all this kind of stuff, and it just wasn't working. I didn't want another Facebook group to manage. I was trying to keep it all in one Facebook group, but I still wanted to be able to message you and send you tips and strategies and all this kind of stuff, and it just wasn't working out. The gremlins were at play, and I was really struggling. So I've succumbed and I've set up a different Facebook group. I'm going to post the link in the comments now. If you've not joined yet, or you've not requested to join, I've not let anybody in yet, so don't think that you're missing out on stuff. Basically, then make sure you get on and request to join. So you should have got that. Let me just keep going. Oh my word! I need an extra pair of hands here. Two going out on Facebook. Okay, hopefully you've got that. If not, then I'll definitely post the comments after this. Okay, we've got a few people on. I know it's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, everybody. After this, I hope you have a great night. And obviously, we kick off on our 30-day sugar-free challenge tomorrow. Okay, so today in this little live Q&A presentation type thing, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it is, what you can expect from it, how it works, what the first 10 days are going to look like, because they're really important that you get the first 10 days nailed down. And then it'll give you the opportunity to ask any questions and make sure that you kind of get started. Okay, so if you've got questions, ask them throughout, and I can show them on the screen and talk about it. So Julia, how are you doing? Someone else saying hi. So we're getting a few comments here now. Hey, I'm such a sweetener junkie. Yeah, you're not on your own. Lots of people are. I shared the link a couple of times on YouTube. Andy, trust you. Hello, Nobed. Hello, Nobed, back at you. You're live on Instamate, so just search on there. Cheers, Carl. Thanks for letting us know. Thanks for joining us. And then another Facebook user saying, hi, Craig. Right, great. So we're going to get going. It keeps, who's this? Happy New Year, Craig. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you very much for wishing me New Year. I'm great, thanks. Alcohol in hand. Yeah, I did wonder who. That's the ultimate rubbing your nose in it. So we're joining the 30-day sugar-free challenge sort of pre-launch, and I just wondered who would be sat there with a glass of wine, a handful of dairy milk or whatever. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. So let's get into it. Basically, what I want to talk to you about first of all is what it is we're going to do, why we're doing it, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so basically we're going to do a 30-day sugar-free challenge. Why? I usually do this every year with a load of people, and I found it to be the best way to kickstart the new year. Lots of people are out there doing Red January. If you don't know what that is, it's run every day. So they're doing Red January. They try and do Dry January. They try and do virtual. There's loads of virtual races and all that stuff going on. Now, the problem with all that kind of stuff is it's usually built on really shoddy foundations. So what I mean by that is we've just had a period now of ultimate gluttony, really. I've eaten things that I shouldn't have eaten. I've not done anywhere near enough exercise. So I'm really feeling it. To launch into something else now, it's like really poor foundations. So the idea of the 30-day sugar-free challenge is that we cut out one of the big hitters in our nutrition, our health, our image, our weight loss, whatever results you kind of want, we're going to strip out one of the big hitters. Now, what I want to say first and foremost is that there is no failure on this challenge. Okay, so don't think, I'm doomed, it's not going to work out. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But in essence, there's two routes on this challenge. And intuitively, you'll know which route is going to be best for you. Okay. So for example, route one is the cold turkey route. This is ripping off the plaster, and you just cut all the devil's dandruff, which is what I call sugar, out of your diet, and you just roll with it. So whatever cravings, withdrawals, whatever the side effects you get from that, you understand them and you roll with them. Okay. That's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, especially if you've had, if you've eaten a lot of sugar for many, many years, and this is the first time you're doing a challenge like this, or you've got lots of other stuff going on in your life. We've all got stuff going on with the pandemic, and cold turkey can be tough. It can be an extra stress on the body, and can make it really tough. So that's not for everybody. So there's another way, although that is the quickest route to getting through all these withdrawals and all that kind of stuff. Or there's route two, which is a taper and a transition. So in essence, what you do is you slowly start to pull out a lot of the sugars and sweeteners and all this kind of stuff. And then you make a transition to being sugar-free in about 10, 12 days. It's up to you what route you want to take. Okay. Both are similar but different. Both have got benefits, pros and cons and all this kind of stuff. Now, you like I said, you will know I think the best way to describe it, or the best way that I've heard Paula describe it in the past, is that some people do really well with moderation. They're like, okay, you know what? I can get through this, and I only need a little bit of sugar, and I'll be fine. I can cut back. I can reduce it. I've got a lot of willpower. I'm committed to this. I can get through it, and that's fine. But then there are other people that are just absolutely a bit like an alcoholic, where if you have one sip, that's it. They're done for. Now you will kind of know where you are on that spectrum, okay? Of whether you are a proper sugar addict and will tend to binge on stuff, and once you start on that cycle, you're really caught up and it's hard to break free of it. Or whether you can kind of moderate it a bit. Now, what I will say is, and I'm going to swear here, don't bullshit yourself, and don't bullshit me either. Okay, don't tell me that you can moderate it when you've tried to moderate in the past and it's not worked out. And don't tell me that you can go cold turkey if you actually, you're not truly committed. You're just going to do this to see how it goes and all that kind of stuff. All right. So that's the first thing. Let me know now which route you think you're going to take. And obviously you can swap backwards and forwards within reason a couple of times. So you don't have to get this right first time, nailed, But let me know whether you're thinking kind of cold turkey, the taper method, or whatever. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those in a bit. Okay, so post your comments on there. Next one. So I'm trying to work out how to. Yeah, I've done it. We've done it. Okay, so Millie Champ's going cold tea, the big cold tea. I know he has because I was talking to him a couple of days ago. He's already a few days into this, and I think, if I'm right, Andy, you're doing really well with it. So that's good. Andrew's thinking cold turkey. That's good. Claire Bowers is cold turkey for me all the way. Alison, how are you doing? Not too far away. Cold turkey for you. Who's this? Facebook user saying it's all or nothing for me. Lisa saying, I'm not really sure at the moment. That's fine, Lisa. You know, it might take you a couple of days to decide. You might want to see how things go. Okay. But like I said, there is no failure. There's just, you know, if you cut any bit of sugar out, then it's a bonus. So don't worry about that too much. Monica's saying cold turkey. Andy saying all good so far. So Andy, just if you can just sort of prep some of the things that you've been experiencing over the last couple of days, just to share them in a comment in a little bit, or start typing them now, because obviously there's little bit of a delay. Like I said, Andy has been going through this in the last couple of days, so I just wonder what you'd experienced. Janet saying cold turkey, and then another user saying, Facebook user saying, useful as I know cold turkey leads to yet more on-off behavior, so I'm going moderation reduction. Yeah, it's good. It's a real, when we talk about like eating disorders, okay, or disordered eating, some people do not, it's just not good to do the on, off, on the bus, off the bus, on the bus, off the bus, and some people need to learn that, how to moderate stuff and live with it, almost living with the demon, if you like, rather than just trying to eradicate it fully, because it's like that classic thing where you see a sign saying wet paint. When you see a sign for wet paint, what do you want to do? You want to freaking touch it. It's exactly the same sometimes when people completely eliminate stuff. But there are, like I said, there are a couple of, there's different types of people, and one thing might work for one person and not necessarily work for another. So you got to kind of find your own way. The good news is I'm going to help you through the whole of this, okay? And so are the people around you. On the last check, let me just have a little look. Let me just let this person in here because they might want to join. On the last check, there was, yes, nearly 80, almost 80 people ready to do the challenge. I'm going to approve all these into the group in a minute, including you guys, and we're all going to work together to conquer this 30 days. We can do anything for 30 days. So in that, I'm going to do daily posts and an accountability thread every day. Okay. So every day I'm going to give you something to think about and a little accountability thread where you can just check in and say, I'm still in, I'm doing this, I've got that. You can ask questions. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes every day just answering questions initially in the morning. And I just want to make sure that everybody's doing all right and we stay in touch. If you don't start posting, if you don't comment, then I'm going to start asking questions of what's going on. Okay. So, because sometimes people stop commenting when they've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit, and that's fine. Like I said, there is no failure on this challenge. I'm also going to send out some tips and strategies through email and in the sugar-free Facebook group, because there are a ton of stuff that we can do. Andy's already posted a comment now about some of the stuff he's experienced. I can help you with every one of those. Okay, I can give you little things that make a real significant difference. Okay, and you don't have to struggle with these things on your own. So I'm going to give you that, and also a live Q&A like this every day, where we just maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever. We'll do a little bit of training. I've got a model for change that I'm going to run through with you in a minute and talk to you about how the first 10, 11 days are going to roll out, and you'll see that there's a lot going to go into this. There's a lot of help and support for you. So stick with it. Okay. Okay. So for that, let me let's put up, what's this? Someone saying, not sure, freezer's full of dinners. Right, okay. Andy's saying, okay, so a couple of things that Andy's experienced over the last couple of headaches, okay? I've got a couple of little tips that I can give you, which can really, really help with headaches. We experience it all the time at TEAM Bootcamp, and, it's a real simple thing that you can do. Lack of sleep. your sleep can really, really get buggered about with. It really can. It's one of the things that you kind of need to focus on and trying to clear it out and really value the sleep without getting too caught up in really needing it. You've got to kind of know that it might be crap now, but it's ultimately going to get better. But you're saying he's fine now after the headaches and the lack of sleep. He's got more energy in the morning, then gets tired quite quickly, feel a bit lethargic and lazy. Which again, if you've been fueling yourself with this high octane fuel, which is really fast burning, but then you've got big dips, you're going to have these peaks and troughs, and it can take a bit of time to get through it. One of the reasons why we're doing 30 days is that for most people, you're looking between 7-10 days to break free of some of the cravings and withdrawals that you're going to experience from giving up sugar. Some people, it can be 14 to 20 days, depending on how addicted you are to sugar and sweeteners and other chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So, it is a bit of a rough ride. I wish I could tell you it was really easy. It's not, but it's definitely worth it. Monica saying, hi, hello. Monica, how you doing? Question, what can I take on long runs, 50 miles plus to snack on that's sugar-free? Yeah, if you're doing anything that's kind of 15 miles plus, you're gonna feel it in the first week or two, Monica. But like I said, once you kind of get through that, it does start to become a little bit easier. You don't have to completely eliminate sugar, okay? But you can make better food choice. You can make better choices. So, rather going for something that's really fructose or sucrose based, or that's got artificial sweeteners in it, something which is a better form of sugar might work better for you. These are all the kind of questions that I'm going to be answering as we kind of work through it. Okay, hope that helps. Andy, big things I've found to do is prep meals and chop lime or lemon in water. Coffee without milk is shit, but a bit of cold water seems to make it taste better. Yeah, good. I use gym as a real stress management strategy for behavior change. So given board, you're basically acknowledged likely tier 4 restrictions for most of the country. Early spring, it's hard. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about exercise in a bit. When you're giving up sugar, you might want to consider just pulling back on the exercise a little bit. Now, it seems a little bit counterintuitive, and I know what it's like when you've got, start of the year, let's smash into this. However, think about this practically. So if we do lots of, especially intense exercise, the fuel source we're predominantly going to burn is what? Is sugar, is glycogen in our body. So our body is going to kick out all these cravings and desires to go and replace that sugar. So if you're trying to give up sugar, you can actually make it much harder. So you might want to pull back on some of the intense exercise anyway, and just opt for longer walks, real slow, long, steady jogs, and all that kind of stuff. So it could actually, and I don't know who that is because it just says Facebook user. This could be the perfect time to do it if you can't get in the gym, and you're just using a bit of equipment at home or your own body weight or the great outdoors. Janet saying, is a fruit smoothie good or bad? I take them to work for breakfast. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do loads of training on this. Let's hit this one first of all. Good or bad? There is no good or bad food. No good or bad food. Your relationship with food will change once you accept that. Now you might be thinking, well, no, that's I get told all the time that this is bad for me, this is good for me. All there is the wrong context. Okay, there's the wrong context about stuff. So for example, the best example is Lucozade, absolutely laced with sugar, just so much sugar, almost twice your daily allowance of sugar in one drink. All right, Lucozade for breakfast every day, wrong context. Lucozade, mile 25 of a marathon, right context. You see how there's no good or bad? It's just the context that we're going to work at. So we're going to do lots of work on, the right context. Janet will have a look at what's in your smoothie, perhaps how we can clean it up and make it a little bit better. Fruit smoothies, we're going to talk about fruit in a little while. It is not going to be the best, especially if you're trying to lose a bit of weight around your tummy, which most women are, most people are, to be fair. Then you might want to change that out. But this is exactly what this is about. Okay, so So that's that. Keep these comments coming though. These questions, they're really good. Help us. Okay, next one. So this is kind of a couple of things I want you to bear in mind. First of all, you cannot fail. You cannot fail in this challenge. Okay, if you have a day where you fall off the wagon, so be it. Just get back on it the next day. Ditch the guilt. Let's go again. If you can reduce your sugar intake, if you can moderate it for one day in January, that's something. And that's the way I want you to look at it. Now, it's not a get out of like, do whatever you want. Just toss it off and not really apply yourself or commit yourself to it. But all I'm saying is I hate these challenges where you don't go right in the first couple of days and you're out and you're like, what am I doing for the rest of January then? You're still in this. You're still in this all the way for the 30 days. And who knows, you might get a second wind. You might, you're still in it. Okay. You cannot fail. And I want you to remember that just because you have a bad day, a bad meal, maybe even, a bad night, whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you're done and dusted. Okay. It just means you've got to pick yourself up and let's go again. Another way that this is kind of different is a lot of times when we do, from when we do New Year's resolutions and that kind of stuff is we go, right, okay, from the 1st, that's it, I'm done. Now, rarely do we actually prepare to start that. Our launch will be 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock because I want you to do whatever you're going to do tonight without thinking about the sugar-free challenge and thinking, you get to midnight and you stood there with your gin and bloody tonic and you're like, shit, I'm a minute into 2021 and I failed already. But there is no failure for a start. But the other thing is we're just preparing to start now. So get your day done because, it's like your last binge before we crack on. And then we're going to launch into it. Okay. So remember that. A Facebook user there has said, love you getting away from default black and white thinking. Yeah, because, the body doesn't operate like that either. You're going to learn that all these different types of sugars are all on a spectrum of of what's good in that context all the way to what's not very good, and then there's also more complexity to the spectrum because some sugars can get like better or worse depending on how much of it you have, or what you mix it with. So it's really not black and white, and we try and make it black and white. We want black and white. But the body doesn't work like that. Okay. So I can promise you after these 30 days, you're going to know a lot more about sugar and the makeup of food and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for your comment. So what I want, I just want you to commit to this, okay, for 30 days. Sometimes when, I remember talking to people in the past and I've said, look, okay, you need to cut out chocolate, for example. And they'd be like, what? For the rest of my life? And you can see the dread and you can see the turmoil in their eyes because they think they're going to have to give it up for the rest of their life. And, and that's not the best way to think because, when something seems terminal like that, we don't truly commit. If it's a lot shorter, okay, for the next 24 hours, the next hour, if we need to, okay, the next 30 days, I'm just going to give it a crack and see where we are because you might find, and you probably will find that once you've done that 30 days, or even 14 days, 10 days. It's taken Andy 2 days for things to really, settle down. You'll find that you can go on for much longer. Okay. And it doesn't feel as terminal, like you've got to give things up forever. All right. So just commit to it for 30 days. Okay. So if you're up for that, then just type 30 days into the comments or I'm in or whatever you want to do. Okay. So I kind of know who's up for it and who's not. In the meantime, again, I'll work out how to move the slide over. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, there is no better time to do this than right now. Okay, 2021 is literally loading right now. Okay, it's New Year's Eve. Okay, we're pretty much all locked down. Those that are out in the pubs and clubs and all that kind of stuff that are lucky, things it's closing in at 10 o'clock and you've got to get home. There's no better time to do this. And what I've come up with is I've come up with a model for change, which I've called Fresh Start. And obviously each letter is a component that we're going to go through in the first 10 days. Okay, so loads of I'm in 30 days. Jules is saying I'm in. Janet saying I'm in. Monica, yep, good. Yep, I'm with you all. Brilliant. Okay. And in that, obviously, we commit to help each other and make sure we hold each other accountable as well. Good. Right. Okay. So let's have a little look through. I'm not going to go into this too much, but I want you to know what's happening over the next 10 days so that you can kind of get a feel for how things are going to run. Okay. Angie's saying she's in. Claire's saying she's in. Brilliant. All right. Okay. So day one. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of prep, and then we launch into it. Day one, I'm going to do some work on fructose. Fructose is a type of sugar that is just handled in the body completely differently to most other sugars. Okay, and it tends to be fructose that we will store that excess energy from fructose as fat. It tends to be that. One of the shocking facts is that since 1970, okay, and some of you was around at 1970, okay, our fructose intake has gone up by about 29%. Okay, 29%. It doesn't seem a lot, but it is a significant amount, especially when you think now, all those that are around in the 70s, are you eating more fruit now than you were then? When I think back, I'm not really in a great deal more apples. In fact, I think in the 70s, I was, I'd have an apple a day or whatever. So how has my fructose gone up by 29%? And it's because fructose is a way that food companies will use to hide sugar and sweeteners in your food, because in some of the foods, and again, I don't want to get too much into it, some of your foods, if it says no added sugar, if it's got fructose added to it, they don't need to declare that, and there's loads of these myths and lies that we're going to bust open during this challenge. One of the first things we're going to do is going to really focus on cleaning out fructose. Janet, your fruit smoothie is going to take a bit of a hit, but remember, everything's a spectrum, and it might just be that we can tidy it up, okay, and it's going to work much better for you. Okay, so that's the first one. Day two, we're going to look at refined sugar. The R in fresh, we're looking at refined sugar. Real obvious one, okay. I don't need to talk about that too much. I'm pretty sure that's what everyone thought about when they first started thinking about a 30-day sugar-free challenge. Next one is the easy wins. There'll be some things that you can just start to moderate, reduce, eliminate, whichever one you're ready for right now to give you some real easy wins. Alcohol is going to be an absolute belter for a few people. That glass bottle of wine or whatever, that can come out, and that's real easy win. And there'll be some other things like, some of the sugary snacks that you're having and all this kind of stuff. Day three, we're going to focus on those easy wins to get some real quick progress. After that, S, which is starches, different starches, they all operate as sugars in the body. Okay. So we're going to look at starches and some of the starchy food that you're eating. This is going to have so many benefits health-wise in other parts of your body, such as, your gut, bloodstream, just your brain fog, a ton of things. Okay. So we're going to look at starches. After starches, we're going to look at hidden sugars, okay? And they are everywhere. This is obviously a picture of a food label here. We're going to learn how to read these food labels so that we can make sure we're eating the best food that we can at that moment, all right? There are certain situations where it's hard to make a smart food choice, but you can make the best food choice for that moment. And learning about these hidden sugars and how to spot them is the first step in doing that. The next S is sweeteners. So we're gonna look at sweeteners. Agave syrup, honeys, aspartame, all the xylitol, stevia, all these different types of sweeteners. Okay, and the effect that they're having in the body, and now we can start to replace them and make some good food choices about them. Guys, let me know if this is kind of the stuff that you're expecting and what you're excited to tackle. The next one is we're going to look at time and how certain times of the day and certain rhythms in the body will affect your sugar cravings and the drivers for you to go and get and eat sugar. Okay, so we're going to look at that, and we're going to address some of the times that you're doing stuff. Another one is advertising. We're going to look at advertising and how we are lied to and manipulated all the time to eat sugar. Okay, so that's another good one there, whatever day that is. Don't know, kind of forgot, but it doesn't matter. We're going to look at rewards. A lot of people will use sweet sugary foods as a reward. And one of the things is like, well, what do I reward myself with now? By this time, we will have a load of ways to reward ourselves of the progress that we're making. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and also why we use sugar as a reward, which is quite interesting. When you really start to lay it out. Okay, Dora, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. I know if I know that it's going to be a pretty tough month with long work shifts, stress, etc., do you think it's worth deferring this challenge, or do you think I should try and attempt it whilst the group is all doing it together? I think you only know that really. It is going to be tough, but like I said, if you can, I would recommend everybody start to reduce and moderate their sugar. Even if you're not completely eliminating it, the benefits are just going to be massive, and it's the first step, of them progressing, and keep working forward. It's interesting the kind of language you've used there. Should I try, attempt? These are all they're not words that scream like commitment to me. So just have a little think about it. If you think it's too much, then you don't have to do this now. You can do it again another time. All these videos were there for you to watch. But like I said, there really isn't any failure. You just do the best you can in the moment. And maybe when we're doing the live Q&As and you're asking questions or you're getting feedback and help from other people, that you're actually talking about shifts, shift patterns and stress at work and how you can manage that, because you'd be surprised at just how much stress creates sugar cravings and those drivers for getting sugar. My advice is go with it. If it's too much after a couple of days, you can tap out. If not, then there'll be other times as well. So hopefully that helped. Seems to be a lot to stop eating, just wondering what I eat instead. That's exactly the kind of thing that we're going to work through, Angie, and you'll find that it doesn't necessarily have to be you stop eating something. You just might change the combination of foods, or you might just reduce certain things. And I'm going to give you, it's really hard to cut things out. If you think about habits, it's hard to just stop a habit. It's much easier to swap a habit, and change it. And it's exactly the same with your foods. Where if you normally snack on food A, which is really sweet and sugary, well, can we make it a habit where we're snacking on food B, which is lower on the glycemic index, lower in the glycemic load, and it's going to be much better for you and healthier for you in the long run. Okay, so don't start, stay calm about all this. It seems like a lot, but it's not. And every day, although I do these little live streams, it's just going to be things to think about. It's not going to be like, okay, you must do this, you must do that, you must do this, or you kicked out the group, and sent to bloody Coventry. It's not going to be like that. Okay, so hopefully that puts your mind at ease. Claire said, I reward myself by buying crystals instead of sweet stuff now. Good for you, Claire. That's good. Very excited, Lord, but very excited to learn more about also going to work, not comparing myself to others and being better because they go cold turkey. Normally shame leads me to bail. Yeah, there is no, listen, cold turkey in some respects is the easier thing, because you get all the cravings at once and you get them done and then you crack on. The long taper and transition thing can actually be much harder because you're experiencing some of these things, for much longer, and especially if you're, like I said, there's pros and cons for both things. And the only people that we should be comparing ourselves to is ourselves, not other people. Everyone's fighting their own little battle, really. Someone saying thanks for the comments. Has Ash put weight on, mate? I don't know who that is. Has he put weight on? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's put a lot on, if any. I was chatting to him today. I was chatting to him about, obviously, well, we're a tier 3, so we can't run residential boot camps, but we're looking at doing day camps. So anyone in here, if you're interested and you can travel, if you're tier 3 and you're interested in day camps with us at Team, then that's a real possibility, something that we're kind of looking into, so that we don't have to completely kind of shut down and do nothing. So yeah, let me know what you think about day camps, if it's exciting or not. Okay, good. Last one then is that the last one is trades. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you had something that's ingrained in your routine, Janet, I'm going to use you as an example, your fruit smoothie. What can we swap that for that's going to make it much better, much easier, and all that kind of stuff? Okay, so that's that. Who's this? Kathy, how you doing? No worries, Mr. Start. You can rewatch it later on. We're pretty much coming to an end, so like I said, you can watch it afterwards. Whoop. Oh my god! Right. What else we got? Let me just move on to the next slide. So this is it now. We're pretty much into the questions. If you've got questions about it all, some things I will save and I'll answer tomorrow in the live launch. But other than that, we're going to start wrapping up now. So, your questions. What's this? Is it good to feel you are in a team? It is good to feel. Yeah, it is good to feel you're in a team. Yeah. You know, and we are we're going to bounce off each other. You guys are going to experience this. You know, there's 17 people on here. There's 80 people looking to get in on the challenge, and that's 80 people's experiences that we can all benefit from. And the fact that, you know, we're all doing this together, and sometimes making like a public declaration in the group saying, right, this is it, I'm going for it today. It can really hold you to task, you know, and it can make it much easier, much more likely that you're going to succeed on this. And that's what it's about. You know, it's not about beating each other up because we've done crap or whatever. It's about lifting each other up and cracking this together. And once you start seeing some of the benefits and results, that is really motivating as well. Okay, so like I said, to join the challenge, it is a separate Facebook group. I really didn't want it because I didn't want another group to manage, but it just seems to be the easiest way for people to kind of get on it. I'm gonna post the link again, and I'll post the link again at the. What have we done there? Oh, there you go. It only seems to be going out on YouTube. Let me know if you're getting that on. Let me know if you're getting that on Facebook. The link. I don't know if you are or not. There we go. There you go. I've posted it now. So if you haven't requested to join the group there yet, then please do. After this live stream, I'm going to let everybody in, and then inside the group there is this little booklet which you can download. Guys, just a minute, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. There's this little booklet, and inside there's loads of little things for you to start reading through and starting to prepare. You know, things to avoid, some of the stuff that we want to try and ditch. You know, how you can pretty much get started. It's just a good little read to get you in the right frame of mind, ready for kicking off tomorrow. Okay, so have a look at that. I was going to do that in the group. The other thing that I want you to bear in mind is, like I said, there's this live launch tomorrow at 10 a.m. We're going to go for it. Basically, we'll launch it. If you're not quite ready, don't worry about it. Come along to the live launch. You know, just go through the process. As soon as you are ready, get into it. Like I said, there's no pass or fail. If this is your 30-day challenge. So that's it really. What I will say is, obviously, first thing in the morning, you need to do your weights and measurements. One of the things that I've done, instead of sort of, you know, doing the old scales and everything, I've literally got a shoelace and I put it around my waist in line with the belly button, and then I've snipped it. Okay, so rather than being dominated by numbers and all that kind of stuff, I'm literally going to measure it every week on this lace, and as it goes down, I'll snip it again, and we'll see where we are in the future. So after one day, I've got a big chunk gone already, which is just like the old grain bloat that you get from eating stuff you shouldn't be eating over Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But it's quite motivating when you start to see that progress. Janet, if you're right, okay, so what we got, so some people saying they've got it, got the link, you can see it in Facebook. Someone saying I'm in work. Janet, don't worry about being in work. Like I said, you can watch it back and kind of catch up with it later on. You don't have to be there. You can read the little booklet tonight, which will give you some ideas, and then we can kind of work through it. Okay, so unless anyone's got any other questions, I'm gonna start wrapping this up now. That's just over 40 minutes. It's long enough for you guys to listen to me on New Year's Eve, I'm sure. So I'll hang around, like I said, what do they call it? Pad it out for another couple of minutes, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. In the meantime, I'm gonna approve everybody. I think approve all. Confirm. Yeah, that should be everybody in there. Obviously, there's not a lot to look at right now because we're just getting started. But where's the booklet? Okay, if you get inside the group, Angie, you can. There's a little section that says units. Just click on the units, and there's one. It's number 1, getting started, and you'll be able to download the booklet from there. Claire's saying thanks, Craig, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Claire. Hope you're good. Champ is saying thank you and Happy New Year. You too, mate, and have a good one. See you probably in the next couple of days, definitely. All right, guys. So, one more. Thank you, Craig. Exciting for January 2021. Yeah, let's make it an absolute belter. Janet saying Happy New Year to Craig and Paula. Alison, thanks. Ready to get going on this. Happy New Year. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year, and we'll catch you all tomorrow morning. Apart from you, Janet, it's at work. Bring it on. Great way to finish it. Take care.